Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, where we will bring you candid conversation. In each conversation, we will talk about real life ups and downs while tackling unresolved matters. We will also unmask issues and truly speak straightforward and candid about our needs and brokenness, while allowing ourselves to exhale so that we can become victorious. This is a place where you can be open to the possibilities of living life in abundance while gaining tools to become bold and complete. So let's get to it.
Oh, well, I hope y'all enjoyed y'all took the time to go get your bacon off, get your breakfast going, get your mimosa,
get your tea,
get you, what is it?
Coffee
with
espresso
a little
martini,
espresso, whatever, a little something in your drink, so we can get into this conversation. Time to shift. Making a shift in life is cutting people off.
And this is part 2, because we talked about this the last time Molly was on, and it was so good. It was such a hot conversation.
I tell you, and we got so many comments coming back saying we got to do a part 2. So you asked for it, and we're giving it to you. But before we get going any further, we have to have Brother Carter do his introduction.
We have such strong girl power on the show today. I want to pass this torch over to Miss Abigail that she do the introduction.
Okay. So, of course, Miss Carter just introduced our topic of the day, and we'll get more into that as we go into the acronym and stuff like that. But I have 2 guests on today who are both very personal and close to me.
Okay.
We have Miss Molly Gilmore. Woo! Molly is a friend of mine. She is charismatic. She's outgoing. She's glamorous. She is quirky. She's always wearing like the most cool, fun, like colorful outfits. She has, I know her for her wigs too. She wears like some pink. She got orange. She got big. She got small. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Molly.
And she's always beautiful.
Always beautiful. Always has a smile on her face. I've never seen her. And she's itty bitty. And I've never seen her without a smile on her face.
Aww.
So tell us a little bit about you.
So for those of you who are tuning into the show and have not seen me before, I am a former lawyer. I was a criminal defense attorney for 9/10-ish years. Moved to Houston for a job. Met Abby through the Houston Show Choir.
Yay!
And decided to leave legal practice.
For the show choir?
No. I wish we got paid.
No. Show choir will pay the bills.
Wanted to pay us. Yes, I will take it.
That is volunteer work.
No, show choir is just one of my
I was being funny.
Singing is one of my passions.
Yes.
I love cosplay. I love sewing. I make a lot of my own clothes. I make my own costumes. So I've always been attracted to the idea of like playing with identity and like joyful creative things, which was not really in sync with the law.
Yeah, because it's so structured. When you told me you were a lawyer, I was like, how? I was like, because lawyers so like structured, and I picture like, but you're like the Elle Woods. You're the real life Elle Woods for me.
That's like my nickname in law school.
It's also weird that she went to law school at the same time as elementary school, but okay. It's like prodigy.
And then we also have another very important woman in my life, my mother, my birth mother, because of course Miss Val is my other mother. So
get it straight. You better know it.
We have my mother, Miss Jennifer Barnes.
Yay.
She is also She is also beautiful, lovely, gorgeous. She's so skinny. She's so
Thank you.
You're so skinny.
That's all I really need. You can stop.
You're
It's the only one in my whole life.
She's intelligent. She is the strongest woman I know. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Jennifer.
Well, you just said it all, but we can go back to skinny. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love being on the show, not just to hang out with you, which I immensely enjoy most of the time when you're not roasting me, which is often. But I love collaborating with my friends here, the Carter crew, and talking about all those things that we don't always get a chance to talk to. That's not really talking about me, but I like to talk. So there you go.
There you go. She is a yapper, so
I'm a
she does like
talker.
to talk.
Well, I actually, I'm a little put off that you said the Carter crew, collaborating. I thought I was your sister. This morning I was.
Well, I mean, you could barely tell us apart.
Oh,
Twinsies.
there you go. Facts. There you go.
And then, of course, we have us.
Yeah.
The team members.
The
I
most
have Anna
special.
over here and myself. Can't forget about me, Abigail, And then last but certainly not least, our lovely hosts, my mom and dad, Brother Carter and Mrs. Carter, here in the house today this morning.
Oh,
How are you guys doing? The
Fantastic.
vivacious.
Oh,
fantastic.
That's for another show.
And we got Preacher Carter over here.
Fantastic. And I'm so ready to get into this conversation because it really did something for me. And if you guys can't tell, I have a little excitement. I'm so excited.
I know.
You're
on the edge of your
I
seat.
cannot take it anymore.
You ready?
Stop delaying.
Okay.
this thing.
So I'm going to play a quick video for you guys. We're going to announce something really, really special.
Yes.
So everybody listen.
Hold
if you're
on to
not
your
tuning in, tune in,
Tune
girl.
in.
Okay, here we go.
Come in.
hey, Miss Carter,
Yes.
we did it.
100,000 subscribers. Oh my God. We did it. Yes.
Hello, Carter crew. It's your main man, Brother Carter.
100,000 subscribers.
100,000 subscribers. Yes, that's what we have. 100,000 subscribers to the Love and Victory Show with Val.
We could not have done this without you all. Thank you for sharing it with your friends, sharing it with your families, and even the foes.
Now, we need you to go out and get those hundreds and millions and billions of others to subscribe to the show.
Keep sharing, keep subscribing. Let everybody know. Hey guys.
100,000.
100,000 plus subscribers. I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for believing in little us, just supporting us, and loving on us.
And we could not have done this without you guys' help. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
You guys have shared. I'm talking to the crew right now. But
Carter
thank
crew.
you guys for just sharing. It took 20,000 of you to share and to make it 100,000. So the 100,000 go out and share. We can get the millions and billions of others to come and join us on the Love and Victory Show. So we want to thank y'all, but we want to give special thanks to our crew, our team members, because we couldn't do none of this without you.
My God. Oh my God. There is absolutely no way.
This is such a huge milestone.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yes.
And when I started, because me and Miss Carter were talking, I've been here with the Love and Victory Show for a little over 2 years, like just a month over 2 years.
Yes.
And when I first got here, you guys, you know how many subscribers we had? 40 subscribers.
We've grown that much in 2 years.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you just hit 80 like a couple weeks ago.
well, that's kind of how it feels.
It was.
That's kind of how
so
it
it just
feels.
goes to show you
Around this time last year,
if everybody shares at once.
Yeah.
around this time last year, we only hit 10,000.
Yes.
So in a year, we've gone 10 times. We basically increased our subscriber count by 10 times. So I'm not math girl.
And
I know what I'm saying.
we also have to give special thanks to the many guests that have come on this show.
Yes.
They brought a huge, humongous amount of people to the show.
Yes.
And so special thanks to, I can't call the names out because
There's
there
too
are
many.
Yeah.
Everybody that have made an impact on this show, we're so grateful. But I have to call out a couple of people that are my day ones.
Okay.
First, I want to call out my granddaughter, Diamond. Thank you for being my day one. And I need to call out Aaliyah. Aaliyah was on my very first podcast, and she has supported me even in the dark hours when I was unable to even mutter a word, when I had no confidence. And there is not even when it comes to you, Brother Carter, I pulled him into something that the normal person would have probably been like, girl, you tripping. I've never, and he 100.
I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
I did say that.
But without a question, he said, I got you, let's go. And we have been going ever since. So thank you, everybody, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have nothing else to say.
Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations to us. I'm so excited. And congratulations to everyone who's been a part of our journey
Yes,
too, because we
yeah.
have a lot of viewers. I see a lot of familiar names.
Yes.
And a lot of the people who are in every week commenting are people who have been with us from the beginning.
Yeah.
So just thank you guys so much for being a part of the Carter crew and for getting us to where we have gone.
Because I know everybody don't come on just to see my handsome face. So we do have to thank a lot of people that have come on to this team. People come out to watch us and come out to see you guys. Talk to a lot of people that I know. They especially like you, Ms. Abigail.
Of course, why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they? Huh? That part right there.
I mean, duh.
Right.
They really love.
So let's keep it
All
rolling.
right,
I really
100,000 plus subscribers. Let's give it up one more time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we just need to next stop million.
Millions.
There you go. There you go.
Billions with an M.
That's right.
And if all of you share today, all of you 100,000.
We're not going to do a full in the loop segment, but I do want to also give one more announcement just because we do have a really fun event coming up. It's kind of a 2-in-1. We are starting our holiday toy drive. Be on the lookout for more information. We're going to open up some other drop-off locations and other collaborations. So keep an eye out for that information, both on our social media and here on the Love and Victory Show with Val. But you can drop off during our business hours, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. at 616 FM 1960 Road West.
And I have to throw this in here. Our back room is already filling up with toys. Oh my God. I just love this Carter crew and the support that we get for this nonprofit. So yes, come on, be a part of this. You bless someone, you get blessed back. So
yes,
always remember
we can never have too much. So
never ever.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also in here, if you don't really feel like dropping off toys, but you still want to make a difference, you can make a donation using that QR code there. And then we will go and we'll get bikes for these kids. We're going over to Texas Children and we're going to help the children there with cancer. And so we're going to be, and other illnesses and stuff. So we're going to go over there and just kind of make their Christmas a little bit better, take some of that burden off of their families who are already going through so much.
Yes.
And also another way that you can support our holiday toy drive.
Yeah.
And we all better be there. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm pointing around the room. We all better be there.
Get your ticket
Get
now.
your ticket to Bowling and Brunch. It's going to be at Delmar Lanes, the same location we've done the last two at on Sunday, November 10th. Mark your calendars.
Mark it.
Mark your calendars. Get your tickets. There's a QR code right there to get your tickets. And if you have my number, text me and I will send it to you personally. I will make it as easy as possible for you. You can go on our website and find it. There's no excuse.
Get your ticket.
Get your tickets. Bring some toys. We usually raise so many toys at these events and we have a good time. We always try to beat Brother Carter. Someone did beat him last time, but he's still.
Well, and he said yesterday, it was so funny that he actually showed up the champion for the last one. He was over at one of the offices and he said, "Oh, I'm coming back to hold on to my title." So make sure make sure you let Brother Carter know he can't get me. I'm like, don't come for my husband. Don't come for my husband.
So we're gonna have some fun competition. Yes. We have a good time. There's gonna be food and a lot of fun and some raffles and some other stuff. So be sure to get your tickets.
I'm gonna stretch a little bit next time.
You're gonna get ready.
Oh, you had to stretch that time.
I didn't stretch last time.
There you go.
Okay.
The trick to win is to stretch.
So now we're gonna go into our topic of the day. Of course, we start by, our acronym.
Yes.
Today's conversation is Time to Shift Part 2. We talked a little bit about this last month, and I believe the word was evolve. This time the word is progress.
Yes.
Because we are all in an era of progressing, evolving, shifting, and growing. So P is for pivotal, very important or life-changing.
Call a moment.
R is for radical, extreme, drastic, and advanced. O is for opportunistic, taking advantage of the situation for personal benefit. G is for groundbreaking, new and exciting. R is for refreshing, nicely different and interesting. E is for exhausting, very tiring or wearisome. S is for scary, also very tiring. I think I put the wrong definition there, but we know what scary means.
Yeah.
Stimulating is capturing interest and bringing to action. And I use these words. I'm very careful when I choose these words because I try to show there's a positive and negative to everything, right? So progressing, it can be exhausting and it can be scary, but can also be all those other things. It can be an opportunity. It can be groundbreaking. It can be refreshing. And it can really be pivotal in your life to open up new doors. And we talked about that on BK Career Conversations too. So that's really been the era that I feel like we're all in right now, in the era of changing.
Yes.
Growing.
And before we go, there was something that we were going to actually talk about, cutting people off.
That's right.
So
Thank
we
you
have
for
one
reminding
more
me.
thing. Oh, that's okay. That's why I am the hostess with the most.
That's right.
So let's go ahead. Remember, making the shift in life is also sometimes cutting people off. So that's been one thing I've been talking about. So hit it.
Yeah.
There are some people who have no business in your life. You got to get rid of that mix. You got to unfriend them. Talk back to me if you can. There are some folk you're going to have to leave alone. And listen, there are some people in your life just for a season. And when that season is over, move on. And here's when you know the season is over. You don't enjoy that no more. I wish I had somebody to help me preach it. That don't mean you're mean. That don't mean you're not a Christian. You just don't feel like going out no more.
Well, let me give y'all a little disclaimer. That's my pastor. So, that's my pastor. That's our pastor. And so I have been on this kick. So when I saw that clip, I said, pastor agree. Because I have always been this person. Well, I'm that person now in my life that I have no problem with cutting off. I'm not cutting off to be mean, but when something is no longer healthy or good for you, you have to move on, whether it's with people that you care about. And it's not that you're cutting them off, that you don't love them. I just believe that you kind of have to back up, because when something's unhealthy and you keep it in your midst, you become unhealthy. It's kind of like being in an infectious, have an infection, or you're around someone that is sick and they cough over you, it just spreads. So I thank you, Abigail. I wanted to put that out there. And hey, guys, think about it. Remember, when it's over, it's over. It's a season. It doesn't mean that you don't care. So with that being said, let's have this conversation.
See, that's really difficult for me because it's something I think I'm learning to do. But as someone who's a people pleaser, I think throughout my life, I've always found it challenging to understand, like, how do you know when it's time, right? How do you know what your pastor was saying? Like, when it's
so toxic and you're just miserable.
Yeah.
You're so unhealthy. You're crying. You're upset when it's a constant battle just to be in the presence of a situation.
Yeah.
Then I was a people pleaser. And being a people pleaser is a very unhealthy because it's so unhealthy. And I didn't realize just how unhealthy that was for me, because I was so busy wanting to make everybody else happy at the detriment of myself. So you just have to, know that you're important just as much as that person, and cut it.
Yeah.
I'm a people pleaser in recovery.
Oh, okay. You're in recovery?
I'm in recovery.
So jump in there.
So I
people
think
pleaser.
I think it's hard. It's hard, but when you start feeling, when you see a text or an incoming call from that person, you're like, when you start having that feeling, or when you do like a little maybe temporary cutoff and your life is so peaceful.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're not like, you don't miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not even to be mean. It's just whatever. It means you're making progress in your life, and it doesn't mean they're not, but your progress is going in different directions.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be anything that's not anybody's fault.
Right.
You know,
It's just the
relationship.
season.
You're engaged. You're engaged. I mean, you're about to get, I don't know anything about when that's going to happen, but you're going to have people in your life that are just not going in that direction.
Mhm.
And they didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing, but you're moving in this direction and they're maybe not.
Yeah.
Right. Or
And
whatever the case
they
may
may
be.
not understand some of the decisions you're making.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't just drag that along, because ultimately that's going to affect the direction that you're going in.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just the progress of life, and everybody progresses at a different rate. And not everybody has that bond with you to withstand all those different progressions, you know. Like Abby has a couple best friends that did, you know, during the college years, they didn't see each other maybe for 2 years. They stayed in contact. They're still best friends. And then some she doesn't talk to at all anymore. Right. That's just the progression of life. You're going to have a couple people that are there for till the end.
Yeah.
But not everybody.
I think it's also I'm really big on listening to your body too. Your body will usually tell you when a situation is not what it's supposed to be. Like I'm very in tune with my body. Like if my heart rate is like up, or like I feel really anxious when a person's around, or I feel like on edge. There have been people that I had to go completely no contact with. Like I blocked, I don't talk to you anymore, because just even like them reaching out to me like would make me anxious and put me in a state of mind where I felt on edge, or like that my safety, and maybe not physical safety, but emotional safety was being compromised. And you really just have to be, and some people, I call it like a soft cutoff, right? Like I don't necessarily block them on everything, but they know where they stand in my life, right?
And I think we can't make that into a negative. I think society has made this thing of cutting people. And I hate to use it because it sounds harsh when you're saying you're cutting someone off, and then society wants it to be negative. It's not negative. You have to give yourself that grace in that space so that you can be healthy and be a good friend or a good partner or whoever in that relationship. Because if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling like, hey, every time I go around this person or these people, I'm changing as a person. Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good, because they're going on, but you're in that space and you're feeling like crap.
Yeah. I don't think you have to necessarily hard cut people off, and maybe not forever, and not even block them, but maybe limited access.
Yeah.
I'm affirmed. We're not promoting divorce on this show. I want to get that part out first and foremost.
Oh no, I wasn't even thinking about that kind of relationship.
Just because you're in a relationship and you're having difficulty in that relationship, that don't mean it's time to just cut ties with. That means you need to work a little harder on the relationship sometime.
I wasn't thinking of
intimate relationship. I know we have all audiences
that too
watching the show, and we got people in difficult situations, and they believe that maybe separation might be the answer, and sometimes it could be the answer, but sometimes it means you need to work a little harder on your relationship. And so I'm a firm believer, as a believer in Christ Jesus, that you don't play with the devil. You know, the devil can get in any one of us at any time. Facts. But when you see the devil for who he is, you don't play with him.
Yeah.
You cut your ties with the devil when you see him in your face. And so I believe that God have a way. He's shown me over the years that he have a way of removing the devil from my life. I don't have to cut ties with it. It just no longer be there.
Yeah.
You know,
it'll happen naturally.
Yeah, it just happened naturally.
But you can't fight it either.
Right.
If you're like reaching out to that person, clinging on, then
sometimes your life will dictate who's going to be in your life.
Right.
And you don't have to reach back and grab nobody to pull them along. You just moving on, and it just naturally just
sometimes that's true in some cases, but there are still some leeches. And I do want to make sure I make that very clear. There are still some leeches that are going to leech on and hang on because they have an ulterior motive to be connected to you. And God has already made it very clear it's time for you to let that go. But you keep holding on to something that he's already freed you from. So leeches,
that means you the leech. If you're allowed to leech to hold on to you, then you continue to hold on to.
No, you're not necessarily the leech. I know you're not, but you're not necessarily the leech. But sometimes, just like Pastor said, you don't, you have to know that it's time. let it go. And it does, like, it could be just for that season, but you have to recognize, is this person, is this situation, is this thing healthy for me?
Well, and people pleasers, right?
Yeah.
Too, right. If you're a people pleaser, notice the people who get angry when you stop.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's real
the
good.
thing.
Yeah,
That's real
they'll weed
good.
themselves out when
Yeah.
you start. I have it, and I tried it. Every now and then it'll like seep in, right? But when you say no, like Abby had said recently, I have no problem saying no, and I don't have FOMO.
Yeah.
She's like, bye, I don't care, right?
Yeah.
I want to say no, or I'll obligate myself to things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But if I say no, I'll start coming up with all the excuses on why my answer is no.
Yeah.
And I won't lie, but I'll try and come up with like,
Instead of just letting you know,
right. And so that's where I've come from now, where I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
Well, that was the people pleasing in me. And I also, as you get older and mature in this, your no's are your no's, and you have no problem with cutting off. So I'm going to give you something to hold on to. If you notice that it makes you uncomfortable every time you go around, then it's something there that you need to pay attention to, and just kind of just pay attention to it. And then ask yourself why. Start asking the question why to yourself to get clarity of why you're feeling like, hey, maybe I.
And if there's somebody you feeling like you get nervous or whatever around a person, then stop inviting the person to be around you.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you don't invite them.
You have to protect yourself at some point in life. You just can't continue allowing people in your life, should I say. The people only in your life because you invite them into your life.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
nobody is in your life just want, I got to hold on to your life. Nobody's doing that.
You giving them
You keep on opening yourself up to other people to allow them to be in. Let me think about this for a second. The devil, what's his name? Job.
He was the devil?
No,
I know.
not Job.
A little bit.
Yeah. The devil told God, I can't touch Job because you have an edge around him. You won't allow me to touch him. And God said, I'm going to allow you to touch him. I don't know where I'm going with this story.
I know where you're going.
Let me say it goes the other way. We're not always all sweet and innocent and everybody's out to get us. I have an acquaintance who constantly makes excuses and telling me lies when I'm invitational or whatever. Will tell me some big old story that later I'm a bully. I'm like, so how'd that go? Because I know it was a lie. But what am I doing in this relationship as well if I'm being lied to? I'm continuing it. And then to prove something to myself, I'm calling it out.
Yeah.
And bullying this person.
Yes.
Just to prove that I knew you were lying to me. But I continue to do it. Right. So you have to take accountability that I'm not always the angel. Sometimes I'm the little devil.
Like insanity.
Oh, I mean, have you met me?
Or something a couple weeks ago where I was actually talking about you.
Oh, great.
And I said, I was like, I have this friend. I try to keep it inconspicuous, but since you just said, I have this
They
friend
always know it's me. Y'all always know it's me.
continues to let somebody in their life that, and I've talked to you repeatedly about like letting those people into your life. And you said something earlier that like there's some people in this life that you can't completely cut off. I would love for like every toxic person and for me to go completely no contact. But sometimes you can't do that.
Cannot cut
sometimes they're your baby daddy.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're your coworker.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're someone that like a family member or whatever. So you can't cut off everybody. But it is about the access that you allow them to have. How much information you tell them. How much of your energy you give to them. If you can't cut them off completely, there's a way that you can do it and still be cordial with that person without completely, because it's just not possible.
Well, I have to say that again. I agree with Brother Carter. We allow people to have access, and so cutting people off it's not so much cutting them off. It's again limiting that access, and sometimes you have to really limit it to the place that you're not even going around it until you're in a position that either I can deal with it better because it's a family member or it's a friend or it's a coworker. But it's all about your headspace. And you have to be okay with choosing you.
Yeah. I
and,
think
and life have a way. I must repeat this again. Life have a way of shifting. That's what we're talking about, right?
No,
Shifting.
we're not talking about shifting.
I thought we was talking about
Yeah,
shifting. Okay.
We're talking about cutting folks off.
Cutting folks off,
Yeah.
shifting,
Yeah,
whatever
I'm
you want to
just
call
saying
it.
hard, yeah.
So so
Yeah.
life have a way of just doing that.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
I mean, when you walk in the right way,
Yeah.
going forward, negative people in your life just fall off. They just tend to fall off because God won't allow them to go with you
that's real
where you're
good.
going.
Oh,
If you're going in the right direction. If you go in the wrong direction, then the wrong will follow you
That's right.
where you
real
are.
good.
See-
Real good.
See, I've actually found the opposite, that when I'm headed in like a more prosperous direction, that all of a sudden people start coming out of the woodwork
and I'm
that
glad
were
you-
not there before.
And I'm glad you said that, because when something major is getting ready to happen in your life, that's when you start to see and get more, I hate to say it, I'm going to use this word again, leeches and other people that are unhealthy for you. It's almost like they just kind of come to the top.
You know you're going down the
It's
right
like a
path.
test.
Right.
It's like a test.
Say that again. Jump in there.
It's like a test, a
Yes.
complete test on
Yes.
how you have control of the situation. If you're really reading, if you're ready for that shift in your life. So if you're still listening to the leech that's manipulating you,
Yeah.
telling you the lies, telling you this, and this, just to keep you there in their life for their benefit, it's always a test. Because
Well, I like what you said there, Anna, because initially, whenever you make a evolve and make a move for something different, initially that crab or that leech or whatever is going to latch on to you because they don't want to see you go forward.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to hold you back.
Yeah.
And so when you continue to go forward,
There
they
you
tend
go.
to just, like I said,
Yeah.
fall off.
Yeah.
They tend to fall
Well,
off.
some of them get stronger. Sometimes the test is, are you willing to stand up for yourself? You can't always depend on someone else. And I know God got our back.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's some work we have to do.
Yeah.
And so you still have to say, hey, I see you.
Yeah.
And then you have to,
if you just go back into your sanctified imagination,
I had to make the decision
and you
to cut
look
folks
where
off.
you are today versus where you were yesterday.
Mhm.
I'm talking about yesterday, like it's
Yeah.
years back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where are those people that was there years back?
I had to
You got
cut some people off.
newfound people in your life as you go forward. Here we got at the Abigails and the honors of life in our lives right now.
But there was
they was not in there.
right.
I'm just.
I know what you're saying,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
I do, but
Okay.
I'm saying that there was still some cutting off that had to take place to get these people in. They didn't just pop up in here because
Right.
those leeches would have still been here, you know. And I'm not calling the people that in the past for the Love and Victory show leeches,
Right.
but I'm saying those people would still be in your life if you, as an individual, don't make the decision and say, okay, I see that this is unhealthy for me.
Mhm.
Something about me have to change. And so I have to do some shifting.
I was gonna say another word for leeches. I want to call them bandwagoners, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of you like, oh, now I'm coming up. Now all of a sudden you wanted nothing to do with me. What did I say
Yeah.
earlier about my dog? Should care less if I live or die.
Mike Jones.
Unless I give her something,
You know,
right? Don't be like my little dog.
Don't be like the mini.
Yeah, you want to recite Mike Jones. Back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. You all on me. Huh?
Exactly. And something that I've learned, because I'm a type of person, I'm a very open book. I love talking, just like I get it from my mom. I'm a yapper.
I
love to
know.
I love to talk about, you know, I don't consider myself a braggy person, but I love when people come to me about their successes and things that they're proud
Right.
of. And I want to come to people too, but you have to be careful about who you say certain things to.
Yes.
Like not everything needs to be announced. Like I've gotten older, and I'm still working on this because I'm a yapper. I love to talk, but I've been working on like just moving in silence
Mhm.
and doing things behind the scenes, and the people who need to know will know,
Mhm.
but the whole world doesn't need to know.
Not
Until I'm
everybody's
ready
your
to get
champion.
Not
Very-
everyone's your champion.
However,
Yeah.
it's not always people, by the way. It's your own negative thoughts.
Yes.
That's
that,
true.
that you
That's
have to
real
cut
good.
off.
Yeah.
Like you talked about when you first started all this,
Yes,
right? And
yeah.
you had 40, you know,
Honey, try 10.
I'm sure
Wow.
you,
Just stay
I'm
on.
sure you had moments like, what am I doing?
I had moments like that. I wanted to just give up, but I couldn't give up. And then I done drug my husband along and everybody else. But I also am a person that if I put myself in something, I'm going to fight.
I'm gonna see it through.
I'm going to
Yeah.
see it all the way through, and I'm going to fight through it because I know that God wouldn't have put me in this situation to fail.
Right.
Trust in the Lord with what?
Oh,
It could be, but it's not always just people, right? It's thoughts,
Yes,
it's
thoughts.
occupation.
Yes.
I'm going through some stuff with my current job and this and that and health issues, but it's really opened my eyes to maybe this. I'm going through all this. It's bringing to light that I don't think my work environment is healthy.
Yes.
And it's really putting that in my head. And I haven't wanted to change the situation because I'm comfortable and financially it's taking care of me. And I think it's really like
and scared of the shift.
That was one of the words.
Scared of the shit.
Absolutely scared to make any changes because of comfort, right?
Yeah,
So I feel like God in the universe is making me uncomfortable to show me like,
which goes back to what Brother Carter said. Even like it will happen as it's supposed to happen.
right.
Yeah.
Most things you do not, I mean, and I always say this, like God has a plan and there's a path that's set up for you. You have to put in the work, but you shouldn't have to force anything.
Right.
You shouldn't have to, if you feel like you have to like pull all these strings for things to happen, then that may not be your path, but you do have to put in the effort and just let yourself be guided to it.
Right.
And
Right.
Let go and let God. I know
Exactly.
that's a quote that's being said. But
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I have Tiara out there. We're going to go to some of these comments. And
Yes.
I'm going to ask Tiara if she could, in the comments, share how, if there is someone hanging on or a situation that's hanging on that's unhealthy for you, what would you recommend for a person to do? So, hey, guys, Tiara, give us an answer on that.
Yeah.
If you have something that is unhealthy and you know that it's hanging on,
Can we answer it too?
you guys can.
You go first.
Yes. And so if you could put in the comments.
So, as I already shared, I'm a people pleaser, but my fiance
There you
is
go.
very good at setting boundaries.
Oh, good. I like that.
At setting boundaries and saying, like if somebody is causing you anxiety, is disturbing your
Peace.
mental peace.
Mhm.
Yes. How to set boundaries. Sometimes it's as simple as like saying no, like, no, I actually don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's saying yes, but with certain conditions, like yes, but if you're going to, talk about this, or if you're going to act in this manner, then I'm not going to choose to be around you.
Right.
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 So he is really good at that. So I learned from him.
That's good. That's real
But
good.
that's what it
very
all
good.
boiled down to, in my opinion. It come down to you as an individual, recognizing first that there's a problem with this circumstance, with this individual, with this surrounding.
Yeah.
I get uncomfortable every time around that. So why would I keep putting myself in that place if there's an issue with it?
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, like, what about, I have a friend whose his dad is like a complete leech. He's always asking him for money, not doing anything for himself. He's well and capable, no disabilities, no nothing, but like, he's like, give me this. And whenever
Lazy bum.
and whenever my friend has a very good month, let's say, like, and does very well, all the dad is asking, okay, how much money can you give me?
Oh, wow.
Like that. So it's very, for like a parent, like what would you recommend, right? If it's your parent, you don't want to cut
still
them
have
off,
to
and,
set boundaries.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer, even if it's a parent, a family, it doesn't matter. Unless if they're elderly, if they're disabled, that's different. But if they're healthy, like you're saying, and they're just leeching and taking, you still have to set those boundaries. Sometimes setting boundaries help other people do what they got to do. You can help turn that situation around by just saying, no, I'm not going to carry you.
There lies the answer right
and
there.
on that too, I feel like if someone wants to give it, they will. But like, if you have to force somebody to support you or give you something, you know what I'm saying? Like for my mom, for instance, my mom knows that I'm here to support her, right? But if she was asking me for money every week, I'd be like, girl, get a job.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when time, and like she said, without giving too much information, like she's having problems with work and things like that. Like
that's when you're supposed to be there.
But if she was hounding me every day, I wouldn't want to do it.
Right.
So you have to also trust that.
Hounding you like a crackhead or something.
You have to trust that.
Just coffee. Lots of coffee.
Trust that, like, if you have a mutually loyal and trusting relationship, that the person will support you.
Yeah.
Right.
And when necessary, as much as they're willing to, right? And also, your friend needs to stop telling his dad about his finances.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to say, "Oh, I don't got money."
Yeah.
You
There
do.
you go. There you go.
Lie.
Yeah, he's afraid to tell his dad no.
I wanted to
Yes.
answer your question that
Go
you
ahead.
asked about, would you say what to do
When you have
when you have a leech?
yeah.
So thankfully, I've kind of, because I've had very like toxic friendships in the past, and definitely in my past 5-6 years or whatever, I've practiced a lot of discernment when it
Mhm.
comes to having new people enter in my life. Because I'm a type of person, like I'll meet somebody, I'm like, "You're so great, you're so awesome, let's be best friends."
Yeah.
But I'm actually a very person who, like, I'm a person who keeps to myself a lot, so I actually don't really have the mental space for a lot of new people.
Mhm.
And so, like, I can be friends with someone on a very like casual
Surface.
level, you know what I'm saying? Like here and there, social gatherings and stuff like that. But there are very few people that I will like let in a little bit deeper. And I've now gotten to a point where like I have to have a trust before I even let you get to that point.
Mhm.
It used to be like, okay, well, we'll be friends and then we'll develop the trust. Now it's, you need to earn that trust first from me.
Mhm.
And we need to build that loyalty first before I let you in my like inner circle.
Yes.
And so you know, that's not, I guess that doesn't really answer the question how to get rid of leeches, but that's how to prevent
But I
leeches.
do think that is healthy, because and it is a way to weed them out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you're being protective of you, making yourself aware of what's around you, how that
Mhm.
person is moving, and is this someone I want to bring into my
Yeah.
intimate
But
circle?
I think I've said this before on one of the shows. Is that it's not so much trusting another person as trusting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
trusting what you see and how that person acts and what they're bringing to the table, which
Yeah.
we'll have to say. But I mean, there's a table for
Relationships are
everything.
supposed to be equally beneficial. We are supposed to like pour into each other. and
Friendships are
serve each
relationships.
other.
Everything is a
Give and take,
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
a situationship is a
Mhm.
relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whatever what we call it at some
Yeah.
level.
I'm going to ask you, as I look at you over here,
Mhm.
you're
Yes.
always so
Positive.
yes, Molly, you're always so positive. You always see the brighter side. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you're that way, people expect that they can just keep taking.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult, like you said, to set boundaries or say no.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was in the past. Are you still struggling with, or do you struggle with just really saying no to people?
I think
find
I'm
it
so
hard.
I think I've grown so much
Okay.
better, so
Yes.
much better at it. I think age is part of it.
Yes.
Like, right? Like once you enter your 30s and then mid 30s, like you're
Yeah. Yes.
and now late 30s, you're
Yes.
like you give fewer fucks. Like
Yeah.
you stop caring as much about what other people think.
Right.
And so I think that's just like maturity and like being more comfortable in yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think the answer to your question is both yes in a way, but sometimes no, because I'm also for me, it's like how much I value a relationship.
Mhm.
Because there are certain relationships that I still feel I'm like, I don't have the ability to maybe set the boundaries that I should, because I value this relationship so much and I value this person so much. And that's something I think I
I'm
still
going to
need to
ask you.
develop.
So, do you value that person more than you value yourself? And that you don't have to
Probably,
answer
yeah.
it
No,
right
no,
now. I just want you to think about that,
Yeah.
because, and guys, please hear me when I say this, because it can come off a little hard, because it came off hard when I had to look at that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it?
This how you feel. So.
Yes. So
Well, this your truth.
you have to value yourself because you can't really value someone else the way they really should be valued if you're devaluing yourself,
Mhm.
because the thing is off. Something's off there.
Yeah.
And so even if it's a dear friend that's been in your life for years, almost your
a
whole
mother,
life,
a father,
a mother,
sister, brother, uncle, cousin.
It does not matter. And again, the reason we can't cut things off is because we've been trained that because they're our family members, because they're our friends, I'm going to look like this bad person if I cut you off.
Mhm.
In spite of how they're treating you.
Yeah.
That depends on what your cutoff look like. If your cutoff mean I'm not going to give you any more money, that's one set of cutoff. If you're talking about cutting people off and as though they don't exist anymore and that are near and dear to your life, then that's a whole different
Well, I don't think
ball game you're talking about right
I
there.
don't think that it's about cutting them off long term. But I'm looking at you, Molly, and because I see some similar emotions that we have right here. And I'm saying to you, the family knows that you love them. And I don't know if it's family here, so I'm just saying, or the friend know that you love them. You got to do you. And when you do you, you're a much happier person when you come back in the presence. So you have to step back from that situation, work on you, because you can't change them, but you can work on you, how you present in that situation. So when you come back in, you're a much healthier person. You can see things clearer, and you can be present in that space versus just being in the space, hiding in the corner.
That's if she's comfortable being away from the situation.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable,
well, most of the time people
that may be a problem.
No, most of the time people are not comfortable being away because they're afraid.
We have these discussions.
Me too. Most of the time people are not comfortable, and I'm gonna use myself because we don't want other people to see us in a negative way, right? So we're still denying ourselves at the detriment of other people. It doesn't get healthy. And I'm telling you, because it was me, until you get to a place that you can say, I'm choosing me.
Yeah.
So that I can be better around you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think Jennifer,
I was just going to say, I think that people go through things, right? I don't think you cut off somebody because they're going through something.
Right.
Right. But if this is a continuous pattern, that person doesn't value themselves. So maybe you're setting a precedent because you don't take from people and not give back if you value yourself. Could you imagine? Like if you value who you are as a person, you don't continuously take from somebody. I'm like, I don't have to give them anything. They can just keep giving. You don't do that.
You don't do that.
Exactly.
Right. So it sets sort of a standard that either they follow suit or, they weed themselves out.
And I think that we do need to be mindful, right? That like maybe you have someone who's like, for instance, maybe your friend or somebody's going through something and they're not reaching out as much. You're not seeing as much of them. That to me is different, right? But I do think it's important to pay attention how people treat you.
Yes.
When they're going through something. Because I had a friend who had to do a soft cutoff. Like she's not blocked, I still wish her happy birthday, things like that. But I let her very close into my life. It was just before I started doing that discernment thing. Like I was just, oh, she's great. She's fun to hang out with. She's my new best friend. And it was there were lots of things that happened that occurred that broke my trust, that showed me that she is not the type of person that is going to really be there for me in the moment that I need it. And we actually ended up talking about it years later. Years after we kind of stopped talking as much, we had a conversation about it, and we heard each other out. She heard where I was coming from and I heard where she was coming from, and she told me, I was going through a lot, and I was like, I completely understand that.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to let you have the same access to me that you had before, because you have shown me now, and that was years ago, and we could grow down the line as friends when our cross pass again. But again, I'm not going to force it.
Right.
If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to force a friendship that I know that has been distrustful in the past.
And unhealthy.
And unhealthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to take some of these comments in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have one from Monique that says, family, friends, and foes, if they are not good to your mental health, spiritual and physical health, cut off. You can always love them, but you have to set those boundaries regardless of how they look.
Yeah.
100%.
I've been the queen of boundaries lately. Like,
I gotta get you
also
on the show
enforcing
one day, Monique. You coming in with the grit.
Okay.
It's also enforcing the boundaries.
yeah.
Which
I can't set
I'm not
them.
always great at. Like I have this thing like, oh, my girlfriend, let's go out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going out, but I want to be home by 11.
Yeah.
It's not her fault that at 11 I'm like, maybe 12. I mean, that's me. Me not enforcing my own boundaries.
Yeah, see, I'm a firm believer in the second and third chance. I'm that kind of guy,
We all heard.
I believe second chances. I think people mess up. Yeah.
Well,
that's just who I am.
No.
Depending on the mess up.
chance.
It depends. Third chances where I'm like, okay. But I do believe in second chances, depending on what the crime was committed.
but
You know what
I
I'm saying?
think I think we're talking about something completely different. What we're talking about is that this is something that has been a ongoing unhealthy issue over years.
Yeah.
And so you have to make a decision for yourself so that you're in a better place to present for yourself.
Yeah.
It's probably a conversation that you've had more than
Yeah.
That sounds like you need to change the road that you're on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean by people fall off. When you get to the fork in the road, you have to choose going the direction where those people are not.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
Well,
Because you can't continue going around people that
are unhealthy for
that
you.
are unhealthy for
And
you.
that's-
You can't continue to say, "Come on over to the house."
let's
I'm
meet
coming
up for
to
lunch.
I'm good. If you're inviting that into your own life, and therefore that make you be the problem, not the other person.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Guilty.
and that's exactly what I said earlier. It's not about them.
No,
It's about you.
It's about you. It's
So
about directions that you take and the path that you're going.
you have to cut it off.
You cut it off.
You got to cut them off or cut that situation off until
I
you
think
get
we're
help.
saying the same thing, but
Well-
we're just saying it differently.
Well,
With different words.
I think we're saying it differently.
I'm super guilty.
Yeah.
I'm the 70, 71 chances, maybe
Mhm.
72,
No.
73 because I was born that year. I don't know.
I was that person, and I
I
was
am too.
literally that person that I was the doormat.
Yeah.
And I was I'm gonna be honest, I was a very ugly person because I was yes, I was being
Imagine that beautiful face ever being ugly.
let's just talk real.
Mhm.
When you're so unhappy within yourself because you're allowing all of this abuse that other people don't see or they do see, stuff is getting in there.
Mhm.
And that stuff is going to come out in ways that you never even imagined. So you can't you have to find some strength
Yeah.
to cut it off and work on you, set boundaries. And then when you go back around, if God brings you back into that
Mhm.
space, you're in a much better place to handle it. But you got to set boundaries. You got to cut it off for you.
Yeah. And let me come back and say this,
That's the 79th time.
If you're being around someone and they make you uncomfortable, I don't care if you cut them off 15 years ago, when that person come back in your life, those same emotions and feelings going to show up in your life because you have not dealt with you as an individual at this point. And so until you deal with you
Ain't that what I just
as
said,
the
Brother?
individual, those other people, other forces and other activities would never be able to
Preach it.
it won't affect you.
Okay, excuse me, baby. We said the same
Yeah, I
thing.
said we're saying the same thing. We're saying it differently.
Go ahead, darling.
I kind of wanted to get on that too, because you were talking about it's all about you, and then you said then you were talking about setting those boundaries and actually enforcing the boundaries, right? This kind of goes more into relationships because I think we've all been through a toxic relationship. I think all of us in this room have been through a toxic relationship, whether you're in that relationship and it's no longer toxic or you're in a new relationship, whatever that may be. And I had to set a standard for myself because I was in a relationship that was very off and on. By the month, by the week, by the day, very off and on. And I made a decision after I fully left that relationship. When I'm in a relationship again, once we are off, we are off.
Yes.
I understand hardships happen. Maybe we take some time apart.
Right.
But if you break up with me or we are broken up, there's no coming back, babe. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to learn through my own whatever that like I don't want that back and forth, but that's that's a boundary that I had to set for myself.
And you have to find out what works for you.
So that means I could be with somebody and I love them and I want to cling to them and stuff like that, but if they break that boundary of you made a decision, I then, like you said, have to enforce it. I can't come crawling back a week later because I miss them and I want hugs and kisses. You know what I'm saying?
If you find yourself over and over and over again having these same problems in relationships, we need to stop taking the eye off of other people. We really need to take a closer look in the mirror and take a look at who we are as individuals, because it's not everybody's fault when you running into the same issues every time you run into different people. and I have a problem with this person. I got a problem with that person. I got a problem with that person.
You're the problem.
That's the problem with you.
You're the problem.
Wait a minute. Now.
Everybody else.
Everybody's doing you this bad.
That's exactly. In fact, I came on the show in January, and that is exactly what I was going. That's where I started that.
And I'm telling you
That I had
was
another
me.
relationship where I was like, all right, I'm the denominator here.
And
The
I'm
common
telling you,
denominator in
I'm
all
telling
these
you.
relationships
No.
is
I'm
me.
still perfect.
I'm telling you, in my brokenness, in the abuse that I was going through and that I was experiencing, I became this ugly person. And yes, every relationship that attached to me, I was the problem because I did not take time to separate myself out of that unhealthy place.
Well,
So
most people can't see that they are the problem, baby.
Well,
you
you
know,
don't-
that's the
Well, they better get to it.
yeah.
It's
most
not
people,
just-
most people would never just look at themselves and say, "I'm the problem."
I know
Yeah.
It's not even that you're the problem.
Especially
That's
narcissists.
it's insinuating that there's
Yes.
something bad about you.
Right.
It's
Right.
that you don't have boundaries. It's that you don't keep up your boundaries. It's that you don't insist on being treated well and you let
Yeah.
people treat you bad. And
Yeah.
they will keep treating you as bad as you let
Right.
them.
There you
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're a problem,
Mhm.
but you have to take the time.
I'm a problem if I'm a softie.
You
That's
have to
my
take the
problem.
time and say, I'm looking for safety, I'm looking
You're
for
the people
security, and I'm looking for loyalty. And
This
the
is
one
what I
person
need.
I can get this from
Yeah.
is me.
There you go. I need to let's go back to some of these comments. In
Yes.
here, please.
So we have one from Stephanie. She said, "No boundaries, no peace.
Yeah.
Peace requires
Boundaries, period.
Yes.
I did want to. Oh,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say we've been talking a lot about boundaries, and I did want to clarify because I think there's a lot of like misperception of what boundaries even are.
Yes.
Like the rules. They're not
the rules,
rules.
right? They're
Right.
like, oh, a boundary is me saying my partner to him, like, oh, you can't go out like
Yeah,
after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that's actually not a boundary.
Right. That's-
A boundary is like, okay, if you do this, if you do X, then I am going to do Y.
Right.
Like it's a consequence. And that's
It's
why
not,
like
it's not an
yes.
ultimatum either, though.
right? It's not
Yeah.
an ultimatum.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey,
it's a
like
boundary.
this
Behavior
is-
that I'm not
this
willing to
is-
tolerate.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what I like. This is within the confines of what I am comfortable with.
There you go.
And like, if you are not, that's okay.
But this is
But
for me. This
for
is
me,
what I
this is
need.
what I need.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than saying you can't go out past a
Right,
certain
yeah.
time.
Mhm.
So that's-
I'm not comfortable with my partner being out all hours of the night all the time,
Mhm.
then that's when you meet a compromise, right? Like,
Mhm.
okay, I know you want to go out with your friends, but maybe not every night or every weekend even, or
Yeah.
because
Right.
that is something I can't handle.
Yeah, so
I
it's-
can't deal with it.
Mhm. So it's like targeting what your root need is
Mhm.
Yeah.
and how the other person's behavior is affecting that.
Right.
And so if they want to make the change in their behavior,
Mhm.
then that's like their decision,
Right.
right? But if they don't change their behavior, that's where the enforcement comes
That's
in.
where the
Where if you set a boundary
You
and
have
somebody
to do what you say.
dips a toe over that and you don't do anything.
There is a consequence.
and then they dip
to
like, and
a
then they
foot.
a foot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? They do the hokey pokey and everything's
The next
inside
thing they
now.
back
Like-
doing what they used to do. You have to
right?
keep,
You have to,
set
like-
that boundary.
yeah.
But totally off that, it also make sure you're compatible with someone. Because if you have
Well,
to have this conversation
Yeah, that's
that
well-
they want to go out every night and you don't,
Mhm.
they may not be your person.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
that's where the
don't fall in love with
boundaries come in.
potential.
Like, that's where the
Yeah.
boundaries are.
But
Like,
I
Because
like
that
to-
person was like that when you got with them.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
but
good.
I like
Don't
to
expect
take
that to
this-
change
Yeah.
with your boundaries.
yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. No.
But
Like-
this is not
That's
just
what you chose.
okay.
Yeah.
We got to get to these comments. in here.
So Monique said to that, she said, if your partner is going out every weekend, that is not your partner.
Okay, Monique, that's what I'm
There
saying.
you go. That's to make you know.
And then Monique also said, definitely give chances, but if it's a continuous thing, you have to put yourself
You
first.
got to put
Do
yourself
we
first.
know Monique?
There you go. Yeah, that's my child.
Oh, love
Okay,
her.
Yeah.
keep going.
And then not Brittany. I don't know why I said Brittany. Stephanie said what Tiara said, that part, friend. See
Yeah.
your way out.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got to. You
Yeah.
cannot just keep sitting and giving chances and denying yourself. It's
Mhm.
unhealthy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Other people don't realize how bad it hurts you because they're not feeling it. So
Yeah.
it's very easy for other people to tell you how to feel in that situation and how to react
Mhm.
because it's not affecting them like it's affecting you. So
Mhm.
for me, I had to do something for me
Mhm.
because as long as I was going in year after year, putting myself in that situation, I was only hurting me and it was
Mhm.
making me this ugly person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I'm glad you got over all the hurts I've given you over the years, and you're still with me after all these years.
It was not
man.
You're so lucky.
You're so lucky.
What year anniversary is coming up? You said 30 something.
What 30 something? 30.
I thought it was
34.
40 something.
No, we've been together 48 years.
Okay.
They've been together millions and millions and years.
Billions with an M.
But
That's a shame when the man know the
I think you said
anniversary and the
34.
woman.
Did you
Yes,
say
I
34?
did. Yes.
34.
But that's because it's next to your birthday.
There you go. That's right. It's easy for me to keep
It's
up with it.
63 and 34. I got it.
you guys are a good example that second chances, just because you go through something, that doesn't mean it's the end all be all, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And you guys, I'm not going to talk too much about y'all's relationship, but I know you've talked about it before, that there have been times where you had to separate yourselves to grow.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Yeah.
Grow
Let
through
me
what you
say
go
this
through.
here. I had to set boundaries for myself. We still have boundaries, and there are certain things that there is one boundary that I will not tolerate. If that ever gets a tiptoe to it, it's a wrap.
Mhm.
And it's nothing wrong with, even in a healthy relationship, boundaries are healthy because that's for you. He has his. And so it's nothing wrong with you saying, this is what I need in a relationship, period.
Mhm.
And sometimes people can grow and your paths can cross again, and they could come back, but they could not. And you have to be okay with either outcome whenever you choose to make that decision to cut somebody off for whatever reason, because it's unhealthy, it's toxic.
Yes.
You have to be okay with it never coming back, but just it could.
Yeah. And I think we have to get to a place where we stop getting so caught up on it's a bad thing to cut something off. It's kind of, again, going back to an infection or something that is,
Like the
chronic.
gangrene.
And
You're pruning.
addiction.
You're
And
pruning.
addiction.
addiction. If you know that me going around you and you have a cold and my immune system is low, because you are someone I don't want to hurt your feelings. So I'm going to put myself, I'm going to put my health in jeopardy. That makes no sense. That's insanity.
Justin made a really good analogy one time that I still think about. He said something about, like, if you get shot in the shoulder and the bullet's still in there, you may have, like, it'll heal over and there's a little bit of a scar, right? But you have to actually remove the bullet for it to, like, fully function how it's supposed to function. And the scar may always be there.
Yes.
But you have to actually go in there and, like, take the bullet out, because if you just cover it up with Band-Aids, it's never going to heal.
It's right. Yeah. That's right. So, Molly, I want to say to you, thank you for throwing that out there, because really, and of course, that's why they asked for us to do part 2, right?
Right.
And I all of the comments that are coming in tells me that this was a great show. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely love it. And I hope that someone got something out of it. And it's at that time where we
think you got your point over?
Oh, I got my point across. I got my point across. I'm telling everyone, please choose you. It's nothing wrong with it. Choosing you. Yeah. So we're going to go around the room. I'm going to start with Miss Jennifer. If you could, first I want to say thank you. Thank you for stepping up and coming in and filling that seat. You filled it well. Oh, thank you. I love you. Any parting words? What did you get out of the show? What do you want to leave the people with? And what was your experience on the Love and Victory show with?
Well, it's always a great experience here. I love getting things out. And sometimes the things I didn't know that were inside me. They just pop out. I watched it back later and I'm like, that sounded pretty good, Jennifer. At 50. Like on that, just a final on the whole boundaries talk, because I think we get really caught up with that word and it's like a buzzword. If you take it at the most basic level, right? Just if I said to you, Val, please don't ever call me Jenny, because I don't like that. And you're like, okay, Jenny.
I completely.
You're doing that to irritate me. And why are you doing that?
That's good. I like that.
So it's not like this big heavy set rule, but if I told you a little something and you want to keep doing it, is that just to see how much further you could go?
Well, yeah.
At the very little bit, you're irritating me. Why?
Because that line, that boundary line, she just keeps crossing it.
I asked you a very simple thing.
But she didn't ask me that. I don't call her that.
No. And I don't really care if anybody calls me that. I was just like putting it out there. Like sometimes boundaries are the most simple thing. And if someone wants to step over that simple little boundary, what else are you capable of? And it seems so little. If you were to say, you know what? I don't want to be friends with you anymore, Val, because you keep calling me Jenny.
Yeah, because
You were like, that is so dumb.
But it's not.
It's
because
not.
it means something to you.
Exactly.
Yes.
And of course she didn't. And I love you.
I love you, and I would never do that.
And thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're coming back home. Yes. All right. And Molly, what do you want to, how was your experience? What do you want to leave the people with? And any parting words?
It's always an amazing experience to be here. You always touch my heart. I think there was a moment we were looking at each other and I'm like, I feel the psychic connection there.
Yes.
So I always love being here. That's why I'm here. Like, even as not being a morning person, I will get up for you.
And that's why I have you on the show. I love having you on the show. And your experience, and what do you want to leave the people with?
I think it's very important for people to find their voice, to listen. So like in terms of steps, like number one, like listening to the voice that you have within inside yourself about what your needs are. And then working past that fear, working past being scared to actually articulate it to other people. It doesn't mean that you are being a horrible person.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you are being aggressive or whatever negative terminology there may be out there for it. But when you can clearly articulate your needs to other people, then you put the ball in their court. Like, okay, I have said what I need to say. Like, you're up. What are you going to do about it? And if you're not, then I can choose how I move in the direction. But if you're not finding your voice, if you're not listening to yourself, if you're not taking the knowledge you have within you and saying it and putting it out there, like, you're not able to move in those directions and grow in the way that you're meant to.
Oh, wow. 100%. That's exactly right.
That's what I meant to say.
I blacked out for a second. Can I say something?
What do you want to leave? What did you get out the show? What do you want to leave the people with?
I want to leave the people with that I gave a third chance to someone and I got two things out of it: a Tiffany bracelet and a very hard lesson.
Oh, wow.
At least you got that Tiffany bracelet, though.
I was going to say, it was worth it.
I'm doing it way wrong.
We're not cutting anybody off.
So it's like,
I might give a fourth chance.
Definitely, guys. Like, there's a limit to the chances if you haven't learned your lesson, right? If this person keeps coming back to keep teaching you something, it's because you're not listening to yourself. You're not listening to what's coming up in those feelings and that discernment that you're supposed to have with those bad feelings inside of yourself. So it's not about giving exactly the second, third, fifth, 10th chance. It's about listening to yourself and understanding if they're really worth that other chance.
There you go. 100%.
Facts.
Abigail?
So I really liked this show. Like I said, I think a lot of us, and in the conversations, because I obviously know all of you guys personally as well, I think a lot of us are in a season of shifting, which means if all of us are in a season of shifting, there are plenty of other people in the world, all the millions and billions that are also shifting. And I think it's no coincidence that we hit 100,000 subscribers and things are changing, because growth comes with change. And I think we all need to be more comfortable with shifting in your relationships, in your career, in your friendships, which I guess goes in relationships, but just in your life, in whatever path you're led to. I really think you should follow your heart and go where you feel led to. And if people drop off, then they drop off.
That's when you're at your best, is when you're happy.
Exactly.
There you go.
And move in silence.
Move in silence.
Can I say my experience?
Go ahead.
My experience is good. It's always great.
You are so petty.
My experience is always lovely on the Love and Victory show with Val. I always have an amazing time here. This is my church, my therapy, all wrapped up in one. So I always love these shows. Like I said, we come up with these topics like a month in advance, and it always happens to line up to where, like, the tea in the streets is always right in a line with what we're talking about. Whatever we're all going through lines up right. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's definitely very, like, divine timing. And so I always have a great time.
Scripture and everything always lining right in.
And we don't even mean it. Like, it just kind of happens that way.
100%. Brother Carter, what do you want to leave the people?
I can do nothing but repeat what has been said already. If you feel like you come off as a harsh individual and you're comfortable doing that, then it's okay. If you feel discomfort and being who you are as an individual, whether you're a softie or a hard rock. If you're uncomfortable with that, then maybe you need to make a shift and make a change in your attitude or your personality or whatever the case may be. But if you're comfortable with it, then stay that way.
Yeah.
And don't feel like it ain't about nobody else outside of yourself. It's all about you and having peace with your own self at the end of the day.
All righty then.
It's a beautiful experience being on the Love and Victory show. We can also call this the Cut the Crap show also, because in our experiences here, there's a lot of cut the crap in the midst of all our conversations. So I think it's just good, healthy stuff that we talk about. And that's why the hundreds and millions and billions of people that come to the show.
Trillions.
That's why they come, because it's real conversation.
Well, I want to say, and it's going to keep it short and sweet. Again, thank you guys for carrying us to 100,000 subscribers. Woo! And then plus some. I love you guys so much. I thank God for each and every one of you all, including the people that are on the set, that come on the set. But I pray that God bless your home, your coming, your goings, that everybody is richly blessed this weekend. Love you guys.
In Jesus' name.